Hello and welcome back to the end of another week. Before I lose my sunlight, I figured I would do my video and let you know what's happening. So in the house, I made a worm bin because I've decided that one way to help get rid of all of my cardboard would be to feed it to worms. That sounded like an awesome idea to me. I'll comment that the moon tonight is super pretty. Let's see if I can get closer. Yeah. That is a really, really, really nice moon. Anyway, besides that, what's happening? I still haven't gotten Francis to order compost, so that's still on the list. We did weed whack though. We actually weed whacked the other week. And I'll throw in a picture because I did actually try to weed whack down there and I realized how much of a pain in the butt it is. So I now have a newfound appreciation for when I ask Francis to weed whack. The harvesting of the forest I think is done. So we have these two giant piles of logs. And they haven't come back out, so I'm guessing they're done. I spent today assembling my chicken coop, and it's already getting late, so I apologize for the light. But this is my chicken coop. It matches the curves of the rest of the pen, and it's decent. You can see that we did have some problems. I'll throw in some photos because as I was assembling it, this very top rim along there doesn't fit properly or didn't fit properly on this one. So when I tightened it, it actually cracked the seam open. So Francis is gluing that for me. And then on the inside, it does have some decent latches. Maybe I'll do an actual review on this thing later when I have more light, but it has some decent latches. And inside, it's hard to see in the dark, but like over there, it has pre-made like things like this. But since the coop itself, like basically wasn't the right size, which is part of what caused the issue up there. If I try to put these into the little grids that are existing, it doesn't work. Like on this side, there's just too much, like it doesn't catch. And if I try to feel in here and let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, if I try to hook it onto this side and then hook it onto that side, like you see, it just doesn't catch. And there's like a super sweet spot where like if I just barely pivot it in between the two there, then it stays. But that's a pain in the butt, and I can imagine that chickens jumping up and down, like the slightest movement knocks it down. So that was not sufficient. Plus, the nest boxes over here are way down here. So again, like if I had mounted these bars where this original thing was, it would basically be in line. Yeah, you see it just doesn't work. It would basically be in line with the chicken nest boxes, which I didn't like. So Francis was nice enough to build me these new ones up here. So we got those installed today, and now these bars slide in just fine, and there's plenty of overhang for them to like they're like, yeah, they could have a party up in here and they're not falling off those perches. So I'm happier about that because now the perches are definitely higher than the next nest boxes. And from everything that I've read, and I don't know anything really about chickens, these are gonna be my first ones. But from everything I've read, I've been told that the perches really should be higher than the nest boxes. So in addition to this nest box, I've actually gone ahead and purchased an insert that goes onto this other side to accommodate another nest box. But I'm not going to put it in right now because we're only planning on getting 3 or 4 chickens. and those two boxes should be sufficient for 3 or 4 chickens. If you look in here, you'll also see that there's no gaps in there. And that's because if I come out here, I've actually, and they have some decent little latches that I've actually started reinforcing it with some like insulation foam because there were big gaps. And one of the things that I liked about this one is that it does have insulation on the metal roof. So I thought it was kind of silly to have the insulation on the metal roof and then have big old gaps like around the coop itself. And I'm sure part of that is because like it just doesn't, it's just not perfectly cut. I need 2 hands for that. It's not perfectly cut, so it doesn't sit quite as perfectly as it should. But it's got this big access door, which I can actually get all the way into if I wanted to. So that was cool. I don't know if you remember, but before I had picked a different coop that got discontinued and replaced with a coop that I really didn't like. And one of the features about that coop was that like the entire back was a door. So the whole thing opened up, which reminded me a lot of like the rat cages that I use that have big doors that open up that make it super easy to clean. So this one has a partial door hatch, but at least it's big. And then the pan slides out from under here. And I was going to reinforce that with wire. So just in case some creature did decide to open it up, they wouldn't be able to get in because there'd be wire. But Francis insists that like, oh, it's probably not going to be that like something's going to be able to push this open. So hopefully he's correct because he's convinced me not to do that. And I hope I don't have regrets on that front. But over here, and yeah, my phone's having problems. Over here, I am planning on reinforcing down here with wire because if I come here, like this bottom section is just sitting in here. So anything can just come up from below and just like knock this whole thing up. And that I think would be really easy for an animal to potentially just pop it out of place. So I am going to stick some wire under there and reinforce that. But yeah, so I'm excited. It's a work in progress still, but it's happening, and the chickens are gonna have a house. So the idea is that I'm also going to be replacing this manual door with an automatic open and close door. So that'll happen. And I have some plans for like adding some nest box curtains and some stuff just to pretty it up and nicen it up for them. But yeah, so they're in there. Up in this space, the rest of the chicken space, I've been mulching. So today was a nice day, but otherwise it's been raining. But I have extended the mulch to this point. And the plan is to keep extending the mulch down into that area, all the way down to the path over there. And then as I've been pulling up the black fabric, I've been relocating the black fabric over into this section for the weed suppression. So all of this is new, and as I get more black fabric taken up, I'll go ahead and cover this whole space. So that is what's happening there. In the orchard space, you can see that we now have black circles. I think I still have one more at the very end to do, but basically I've gone ahead and added some nicer amended dirt to all of these spaces, and those are where all of the orchard trees will go, which we still have not bought, but it's on our things to do list. In the garden, yeah, things are kind of same old. Oh yeah, it's actually dark enough now that you can see my lights. Most of them are on. There's one missing over there, but like the two over there are on. I have no idea why that one's blinking at me. But, and then it's obviously too light for those two, and those four haven't turned on yet. But over in this space, you can see that it's kind of a disaster. I have started basically, and we got some water, obviously. I have started taking up the dirt and harvesting the potatoes. So it's been pretty cool. Like they're not fantastic potatoes, but like that's the dirty side, but they got rained on, so that's the good side. They're legit potatoes that I grew, so I'm excited about that. And the dirt that's been coming out of these things is what's been going down into the garden. And the idea I may have mentioned before is that I want to put some new planters along here that will be for the asparagus. So we're going to have asparagus growing up here. And then I do have at that corner, I believe, on the other side, a passion fruit vine that's not doing great, but it's doing okay. And over there on that post, I also have a passion fruit vine. So my hope is that on the north side, we'll have like passion fruit that starts growing. And then here on the south side, we'll have asparagus that starts pretty small and then obviously ends up growing into fronds and getting quite large. So this is the back side of the chicken area. And yeah, what else? I did finally completely take down the cucamelons and their thing. So the posts are over here and the net is in the bench because I didn't want animals getting stuck in it. But yeah, this all needs to get cleaned up. What else? Things to come. I am trying to get Francis to order more compost. You may or may not have noticed that the red car is missing from the driveway, and that's because we actually found a mechanic just down the street who's going to take a look at it. So it is sitting at the mechanic's, and hopefully it's not going to be too expensive to fix. In here, I'm just going to continue with this space here. We might get around to doing the orchard. And we did get freezing this week. So yeah, if I come over to our little handy dandy thermometer, you can see that it got down to 29. So we'll go ahead and clear that today and restart it. And we can come over here. Oh yeah, whew, it looks like someone's been having fun with the with the mulch creatures. So yeah, you can see we definitely got some rain this week, but we'll go ahead and dump that and start over from scratch. So yeah, I think that is it for this week. Same old. Not sure what I'm doing. Well, I know I'm going to be starting some passion fruit. Some persimmon wine, and finishing some of my other liqueurs that I started earlier. But for this week, I will go ahead and leave you with the sun setting. Ooh, the sun setting on that side. And if I turn around, we have the moon rising on the other side, which is super cool. Anyway, I hope you had a good one, and I will see you next week. Bye.